His mother, Mary, in our tradition, Maryam, is mentioned 35 times in the Quran, more so in the Bible. The chapter is named after her. Are these things insignificant, or is there meaning in them for us to ponder about? She is mentioned as amongst women having the highest status amongst women. This is the third chapter in verse 42. Then it doesn't end there. I mean, it goes on and on, but we somehow don't focus on these stories. Then we have the persecution of the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, when he had to flee from his place of birth, Mecca, and took refuge in Medina. Before he reached Medina, he was accompanied by his dear friend, Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, peace be upon him, and he was the first of the caliphs who we refer to as the rightly guided caliphs. He was in hot pursuit by those who wanted to do him in. The two friends took refuge in the cave of Thor. And who brought them water and sustenance? A fact which many of you know here. Anyone can mention her name? See how few know this fact. She was pregnant, and she brought them food and thing. And in those days, the way you used to take water was to take musk, a leather bag, and tie the knot from the top. And she used her waistband, tore it in half and tied it, the mouth of this. And when the Prophet saw it tied like that, he understood what she had done, and he gave her a title, the Lady of the Two Nitaq, which is kamarband in our language, like a waistband. And she was very proud of that title. Any title that the Prophet would give to anyone, they would always use that in preference even to their own name. The first child born in Medina was her son when she was pregnant, Abdullah bin Zubair. Her story doesn't end there. She was not just providing water and sustenance. She fought in the Battle of Yarmouk herself, and this is 636, 20th of August 636, which resulted in the victory of the Romans being expelled from Syria. When Hajjaj bin Yusuf surrounded Mecca, her son, the same son, Abdullah bin Zubair, consulted his mother, because it was considered this a lost cause. Should I surrender or continue fighting? And her response to her son, to die fighting for the truth is preferable than to live a life of subjugation. They lost. Abdullah bin Zubair was hanged by Hajjaj bin Yusuf, and when the mother went to retrieve his corpse, Hajjaj kind of tauntedly said to her, "See how I have destroyed your son's life." Look, the brave woman now, she's a very old woman at this stage, and she answers to him, "Yes, I saw how you destroyed my son's world, but he has destroyed forever your hereafter." So these are the traditions. It's not cloistered women. These are women very much central in the Holy Quran, not playing supportive role, tradition. This is part of the tradition of the Holy Quran, but in the tradition, the traditions are the primary source of traditions are the sayings of the Prophet of Islam, which we refer to as hadith, and Islam would be very poor without the contribution of the second greatest contributor to Hadith lore, which was after the death of Hazrat Khatija. He married Hazrat Aisha. She is the second narrator after Hazrat Abu Huraira. She collected the most number of hadiths, and she is referred to as a source of them. So a source of knowledge. As a widow did not sit cloistered at home. She became very much a central feature in Muslim society, participated in battles herself. People would come to her for seeking advice. The tradition, now traveling further in time, the significance, equality, sometimes I feel uncomfortable with the term. Equality in opportunity, yes, but equality otherwise, I don't quite understand what it means. As far as the judiciary is concerned, it's an equal, we provide equal opportunities to all to participate. It's a merit-based system, and we endeavor to redress wherever there is, we find insufficiency. Another tradition, the four schools of fiqh in Sunni Islam, the first of them, the Maliki school's founder, the question came before him whether divorce can be given under compulsion. And he said divorce under compulsion is no divorce. This was construed by the then ruler Al-Mansur. Someone said that you have extracted oath of allegiance, and people are using this fatwa, your religious ruling, that saying that that is not really an oath of allegiance. So he was called upon to withdraw it. He said he will not do so. He was tortured. He was imprisoned. He was lashed. A shoulder of his was dislocated. And he stuck in support of women's rights. And eventually he was paraded in town with his beard shaved. It was considered that to insult him. And he responded, any other person, totally would have been, you would imagine, a broken man. And he said, because naturally without a beard, people may not recognize him. And his words were, those who know me will recognize me, and those who don't know me should know that I am Malik bin Annas, the son of Annas, and I say, divorce given under compulsion is not divorce. So this was the adherence to the truth that under no circumstances must we give up. Adherence to, it could have easily said something or the other, qualified his statement, but the extreme example of standing up for women's rights, the importance, again I'll go to scripture, and I quote from the 46th chapter of the Holy Quran, verse 15, we have enjoyed on man kindness to his parents. In pain did his mother bear him, and in pain did she give him birth. So central feature, importance, significance, understanding, empathizing, sympathizing with what a woman goes through. There is a very famous saying of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, heaven lies under the feet of your mother, not the father. Another well-established hadith, which is reported in the two most significant hadith works, Bukhari and Muslim. Someone came to the Prophet and was asked, who should I honor most? He says, your mother. He said, then who? He said, your mother. Then who? He said, your mother. And then who? Your father. Father came at number 4. First 3 honors went to the mother. How did our polity develop? Now coming to the subcontinent. We hear about the two great Maulanas who were in the freedom movement well before the conception of Pakistan, the Maulana Muhammad Ali Johar and Maulana Shaukat Ali. Their mother, B. Amma, was a very strong, powerful personality who encouraged them. When the founder of the nation, Mr. Jinnah, constituted his Central Working Committee of the All India Muslim League, which comprised of one extreme would be Balochistan, and the other end would be present-day Bangladesh, then East Pakistan. He ensured that there was a woman in that committee, Central Working Committee, very few members. My father was one of them, and Begum Muhammad Ali, the widow of Maulana Muhammad Ali, was a permanent member. You will see a lady, and she is, in photographs you'll see she's in a parda in all pictures of the Central Working Committee of the All India Muslim League. The founder, his marriage did not last, but to ensure that women would come forward and play their role, he always took his sister, Fatima Jinnah, wherever he went. She did not hold any position in the party, but she was always by his side, very visible in photographs, otherwise very visible as well. And when there was the draconian martial law of General Muhammad Ayub, they turned to her to lead the opposition. They turned to a woman. The founder of the Muslim League very famously said, you educate a boy, you educate a person, you educate a girl, you educate a family. So this is our tradition. Pakistan had the first woman prime minister in the entire Muslim world in 1988. She was again elected in the year 1993. But then we must also come to terms with what happened subsequently, how things turned. We started the rights that were secured long ago, and the central feature of women's rights that were mentioned. We don't hear stories of women generally when you have an Islamic discourse. Who is the best amongst you is the one with the greatest of faith. No discrimination on the ground of race, creed, color, gender, or anything. So this is a very rich traditions. Somehow I feel we started emulating the worst of the West, and they went through this phase and they've come out of it, and we've kind of gone there and got stuck there in many other things as well, whether it's the destruction of the environment, whether it is other things, and whether I don't know if providing cars is better than providing bicycles. I may take issue with my distinguished colleague, but that's how it is. So I would go back to a couple of decisions of mine. Some have been cited. I won't mention. One was the destruction of an all-girls school in Swat that was bombed. It's in Sangota, place called Sangota, public school, all-girls school, and the misguided, the deluded, those who think they are advocating the cause of Islam, prohibited women from seeking education, and this school was closed for about 5 years because it had come under terrorist acts. I'll just read a bit from the judgment, which relies upon the Holy Quran, and this is paragraph 10 of this judgment. The first command from Almighty Allah to Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and through him to humanity, was Iqra, read. Iqra is a command. It is expressed in the command form of the Arabic verb. This first command proceeds to then mention the pen, qalam, and education or learning, ilm, of the myriad of things that the most benevolent Creator could have conveyed in the first revelation in the Holy Quran, He in His infinite wisdom and mercy considered reading, writing and education to be of the primary importance. So it goes on that this is not addressed to men, it is addressed to all human beings. So another little bit from this judgment, Islam was inclusive and non-discriminatory. And I quote from the Holy Quran, verse 13 of Al-Hujarat, chapter 49. The most honored of you in the sight of Allah is the one who is the most righteous, unquote. Race, color, status, wealth, gender was submerged under the Islamic equality principle. Ironically, education has come under attack in the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, despite the constitution guaranteeing equality of sexes. So I try to use as much as of the faith, because our audience is primarily Muslims, and when those professing to belong to a particular faith commit acts of violence which are completely contrary to all the teachings, then it becomes our duty to stand up and point out the error of their ways, do so with the grace. They do so with bombs, we do so with words, they do so with bullets, we do so with pens, they do so with bombs, we do so with polite teaching and reminding them of what the Holy Quran has said. And inshallah we will succeed and take all of us, which includes I can't imagine a world without women, so equality, etc. I would like to go to the next level of this. I was in Turkey and I heard a phrase which I thought was so beautiful. I've mentioned pregnant lady, the lady Asma, who helped save the Prophet's and his companions' lives. May peace and blessings be upon them. And a pregnant woman in Turkey is known as iki janla in the Turkish, a lady with two souls. What a beautiful thought. Thank you for your participation, and thank you for bearing up with me at the end of the day.
हुनर सिखाए गए, और it was not about brick and mortar.
ख़वातीन के आलमी दिन के मौके पर तक़रीब से खिताब करें वज़ीर आज़म मोहम्मद शहबाज शरीफ।
और फिर ठप हो जाएगा। नो, you paid certain amount per student to qualified companies, hoteliering, services, textile, whatever, motor mechanic, paid a fees to them, और वो बच्चों और बच्चियों को ट्रेन करते थे। और इसके लिए यहाँ पे तशरीफ़ फरमा है बरतानिया की हाई कमिश्नर डेफिड, हमारा एक हमपल्ला था जिसने मिलकर हमारे साथ इस प्रोग्राम को बहुत इनकलाबी यहाँ पर तब्दीली आई थी। और मैं समझता हूँ कि अब हमें अपने वसाइल के ज़रिए इस प्रोग्राम को पूरे पाकिस्तान में हमें फैलाना होगा। मैं आपको यहाँ पर ये बड़े खुलूस दिल से अर्ज़ करना चाहता हूँ कि अब हमें आगे बढ़ना है। ख़वातीन हों, बच्चे हों या बच्चियाँ, उनके अगर हाथ में हमने MA हिस्ट्री की डिग्री देनी है या जोग्राफ़ी की देनी है, ज़रूर दें। तालीम, शऊर होना चाहिए कि जनाब दुनिया का जोग्राफ़िया क्या था, तारीख़ क्या है, बिल्कुल इसकी बड़ी शदीद ज़रूरत है। लेकिन कौमों को तरक्की दिलाने के लिए, कौमों को उनको वक़ार और वसाइल मुहैया करने के लिए जो आज के जदीद टूल्स हैं, उनसे हमें अपने बच्चों और बच्चियों को लेस करना है। चाहे वो AI है, चाहे वो IT है, चाहे वो स्किल डेवलपमेंट है, वोकेशनल ट्रेनिंग है। और इसके लिए मैं आज यहाँ पर खेल कूद के मैदान में हमें आगे जाना है। اور وہاں پر اپنی بہترین صلاحیتیں دکھانی ہیں. لیکن اس کے ساتھ جو سب سے بڑا چیلنج ہے وہ جدید تعلیم کا تصور. اور اس کے لیے میں آپ کو یہاں پر یہ کہنا چاہتا ہوں کہ ہم تمام وسائل جو وفاق کے پاس موجود ہیں وہ ہم صوبوں کے ساتھ مل کر ہم اس میدان میں صرف کریں گے تاکہ آج نہیں 10 سال 5 سال 15 سال بعد یہاں پر لاکھوں کروڑوں بچے اور بچیاں جو جدید ہنر سے وہ مالا مال ہوں اور دنیا میں اپنا سکہ بٹھائیں. یہ ہے وہ راز جس سے ہم انشاءاللہ پاکستان کو آگے لے کے جائیں گے. میں I'm not here to serve a sermon. میں جو گزارشات یہاں پر پیش کرنے آیا ہوں وہ بڑے دل کی اتھاہ گہرائیوں سے ہیں. اور میں آپ سب کو ایک مرتبہ پھر دل کی گہرائیوں سے مبارکباد پیش کرتے ہوئے یہ کہنا چاہتا ہوں کہ ہمیں ہمارے دین نے، قرآن کریم نے، نبی کریم صلی اللہ علیہ وسلم نے جو خواتین کا جو رتبہ ہے اس کو جس طرح اچھے طریقے سے بیان کیا شاید ہی کسی اور طریقے سے اس کو بیان کیا گیا ہو. لہٰذا میں سمجھتا ہوں کہ ہمیں اب اس دور میں پیچھے نہیں رہنا. یہ قوم کی بیٹیاں جو وردی میں بیٹھی ہیں، ابھی آپ نے دیکھا کہ کس طرح جان ہتھیلی پر رکھ کر اس قوم کی بیٹی نے اپنی فرض شناسی کا ذمہ داری ادا کی. کس طرح آپ نے دیکھا کہ ایک کوہ پیما ان کے بھائی یہاں پر موجود ہیں، وہ تشریف نہ لا سکیں اور ان کے پاس کوئی وسائل نہیں مگر قابلیت اور ذہانت یہ اللہ کی دین ہے. اس کی بنیاد پر انہوں نے اپنا لوہا بنایا. میں آج ختاماً یہ عرض کرنا چاہتا ہوں I want to say this without any fear of contradiction that by the grace of God your government is fully committed to support our youth, to provide them with modern techniques and modern gadgetries, no matter what the cost is, because in the end of the day, it is not a cost, it is an investment on our youth. And we shall do that by the grace of God, come what may. ہمارا اس میں یہ عزم صمیم ہے اور میں یہ کہنا چاہتا ہوں کہ وائلنس اگینسٹ وومن کا ایک میں مانیٹرنگ سیل وزیر اعظم ہاؤس میں قائم کروں گا انشاءاللہ خواتین کے لیے. اور وہ اس بات کی گارنٹی وہ مہیا کرے گا کہ خواتین کی عزت، ڈگنیٹی، وقار کوئی ان کو تنگ نہ کر سکے. اس کے لیے پورا میکنزم بنائیں گے اور انشاءاللہ یہ دنوں ہفتوں کی بات ہوگی، اس میں کوئی زیادہ وقت نہیں لگے گا. میں آخر میں آپ سب کا شکریہ ادا کرتے ہوئے اس شعر پر